Hey guys, I wanted to share my jerk chicken chili recipe. This is really good, flavorful, meaty, and hearty. Don't be intimidated by all the ingredients. Trust me, you gotta try it, even if it's just once. It's really good. If you want this to be real spicy, the only thing that you would do differently is instead of the mild jerk seasoning, you just get the hot and spicy one. And that's about it. So try this out and let me know how you like it in the comments below. To start, you're going to heat up your cast iron pan and then you're going to turn on your crock pot to low. Now that my cast iron pan is hot and ready to go, I'm going to pour in some olive oil and then I'm going to brown my chicken on each side. You can season your chicken how you like. If you want to know what I use to season my chicken, I use cracked black pepper, kosher salt, garlic powder, and onion powder. Normally I wouldn't crown my pan like this, but since I'm just browning the chicken, it's totally fine. I didn't want to wait and I didn't want to heat up too many of my cast iron pans. I'm trying to make this recipe as easy as possible. So yeah, you're gonna brown this on each side. Okay, so now that it's brown on one side, I'm just going to flip them over and do the opposite side. And this looks really good, like really. This is exactly how you want it. You want to make sure that you're using high heat when you're doing this method, in case you guys don't know. So now that they're brown on both sides, I'm just going to remove them from my pan and I'm going to set them on a plate. I won't put them in the crock pot just yet. I like to let them sit on a plate and let the juices develop and the seasonings marinate the chicken. And yeah, so when you're doing this, you're going to keep your heat on. Now you're going to dump your onions and your peppers into the cast iron pan. This, oh my gosh, when I tell you this is going to bump the flavor up so well because you're not cleaning out the pan. You're using the bits from the bottom of the pan to season your veggies. So do not clean the pan. Put it directly in the pan after you've cooked the chicken. You're going to saute your veggies and let the onions get a little translucent, and you'll start to smell the onions and the peppers in your house, and that's when you know that they are ready, when your house is very fragrant. Okay, so my veggies are now cooked. I'm just going to turn my heat off and set them aside for a while. Okay, so now I'm in my crock pot and I'm dumping my crushed tomatoes inside the pot. After I do that, I'm going to dump in the beans. Make sure you drain the beans. You don't want to make a soup, you want to make a chili. You want to make sure that your chili is thick and not runny. So before you dump the beans in, make sure that you actually drain them first. So here I'm just squeezing my limes. You can use 1 to 2 limes. You don't want to use too much because you don't want the chili to be sour. So what I did was I quartered my limes. I just used 1 and I just squeezed it out by hand. and I was having a little bit of trouble. So you're gonna see later on I went back and I used my what is it called, the squeezer. Yeah, so here I'm just dumping in my onions and peppers that we just cooked. Now you're gonna dump in your green peppers and your cilantro. Add in some fresh thyme. So I'm multitasking. Right now I'm just browning my Italian chicken sausage. I've removed them from the casing and I'm making them in the same exact pan that we made the chicken and the veggies. So this is what I was mentioning earlier. I went back and used my lemon squeezer for my limes, and I went and squeezed the entirety of the lime juice to make sure that I got everything out of my limes. Now you're gonna add in your herbs and spices, the cumin, the pepper, the thyme, the onion powder, the garlic powder, all those things, you're gonna dump them in. So now I'm going back to my meat, which is almost completely browning. And one thing I gotta say about this recipe, you're doing a lot of things at once, so you're multitasking, which is really good because it doesn't seem like it's a lot of steps. So now you're gonna go back to your crock pot, and then you're just gonna mix in those ingredients you already put for now. So now you're gonna add in your brown chicken, and then whatever juice is at the bottom of the plate, you're gonna pour that right in. This chili is all about flavor. You see it. So now you're gonna add in your Italian chicken sausage. I kept mine in big pieces because I like my chili chunky, which is gonna be perfect. Because you'll actually taste it. You know how some chilies, the meat is ground so tiny, you can't even taste the meat. But not in this recipe. So now I'm gonna add in my garlic, and then I'm gonna add in my brown sugar, and then I'm gonna add in the soy sauce and the ponzu sauce. The ponzu sauce is very similar to soy sauce, it's just lime flavor. That's the only difference. Okay, so now I'm adding in my sweet and spicy jerk marinade, and then I'm gonna add in my jerk seasoning sauce. Last but not least, you're gonna add in your browning sauce. So now that everything is done, you're gonna give this a good stir. Make sure that you don't stir it real crazy so that everything won't splash all over the place. So what I'm doing here is actually folding the ingredients, and I'm taking my spoon from the very, very bottom. You wanna make sure that you get everything mixed together like 1,000%. You wanna make sure that everything is just mixed up really, really well. So again, since this is a full recipe, meaning that the crock pot will be filled to the top almost, you're going to make sure that you just fold all the ingredients from the bottom. So the hard part is over. You can congratulate yourself. I know it seemed overwhelming, but the easy part is now coming because everything that you needed to do is done. So you're just gonna cover it and let it cook for 6 hours. So now I'm at the 6-hour mark. What I'm gonna do is remove the lid and I'm gonna give it a stir one more time, and then I'm gonna let it cook for the additional 2 hours, which is 8 hours total on low. Look how tender the chicken is. You don't even need to break it up yourself. Look, it's so tender. It's just breaking as I'm stirring it. So yeah, you know this recipe is about to be bomb. So anywho, just stir it and then you're gonna cook it for an additional 2 hours, which is 8 hours total. So my chili is done. I usually eat it the next day, but I wanted to show you guys how it was like right out of the crock pot. Look how thick that is. I'm serving it over jasmine rice. It's really, really thick and it's not runny or soupy at all. So yeah, if you see it like this, imagine the next day. So this is after the next day. This chili is so good. I just can't even tell you. You just have to make it yourself and taste it. It's really, really good and it's so flavorful. And you can eat it regular, you can serve it over jasmine rice or any type of rice, or you can make it on plantains like I did here. However, you're gonna like this recipe. So thanks for watching.